Welcome to the Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. I'm up pretty early this morning. Well, it's not that early right now. It's only a little bit after 7. It's like 7:02. But I've been up for a little bit over an hour. Got up early. There was like these flashing lights going on outside, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? The sun wasn't even up yet. I look outside and there's an ambulance. There's an ambulance parked on the block, and the lights are just flashing. I mean, it's lighting up the whole street. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on? So I'm looking out the window, and I'm there for maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I see the front door of my neighbor's house open, and I see EMT bringing someone out. The person is coherent and, moving around on their own, but they're being brought out and gurneyed and prepared to be put in the back of the ambulance. And I realized, I've seen this person, and I'm saying things anonymously because I don't want to put people's, identifiable things out there. But this individual was just up and walking around the day before, seemingly fine, saying hello to everyone, just no problem. Bundled up. We had a couple of cold snap days here in the Northeast, and they were bundled up going to the store and just waving hello, and then the next day they're going in an ambulance at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's still dark outside. It just really let me know how precious life is, and sometimes we need those reminders. It let me know, like, wow, you're walking around and saying hello to everybody yesterday, and then today it could be a stark difference. So I don't know what their medical emergency was or what the situation is. I'm sure we're a pretty tight-knit block neighborhood over here, so I'm sure somebody will find out what happened. Hopefully that they will be fine. So prayers for them. They, like I said, they look coherent and moving around and everything, but it's definitely, you could tell they were in distress. And that's always a scary thing, especially when you're talking about seniors and getting older and that sort of thing. And even not even seniors, even kids. You don't want to see kids in distress. Nobody wants to see even their pets in distress. I mean, these are the things that we deal with in everyday life, But it lets you know just how quickly things can change, and that we have to appreciate what we have in life, the simple things, the small things. We have to be appreciative. We have to be humble. Because one thing life will do, it will humble you real quick. And I had to have that come to Jesus moment where you're like, okay, Renee, what do you really want out of life? You know what I'm saying? Now that you're at this middle age, what do you really want out of life? Do you want the flash and the dash and the this and that? Or do you want simple family, good food, laughs? And I realized that that's what's important. And I'm not saying achieving things isn't great, because y'all know I'm an achiever out here. And I'm always going to push anybody around me to achieve as much as they can and go as far as they can. Be as successful as you can. But make sure when you do that you are happy. Right? You did all these things. You got everything you wanted. You got the fine man. You got the girl. You got all the things that you wanted. But are you happy? Because all those material things you cannot take with you when you go. So you got to make sure happiness is paramount. Contentment with yourself. You always see people out there, they're getting the next new thing. They got all the new clothes. They got all the new shoes. They got all the things that they think they wanted. But their health isn't great. Their physical ailments that they're dealing with is like, what's going on? Their mental health is rocky, is all over the place. And quite frankly, they're miserable. But they're trying to fill in all the blanks that they have. And that's really what it is. It's a blank in your spirit. It's a blank in your soul. So let me buy all the things. Let me get all the drinks. Let me fill up on all of the material things. It could be cars. It could be women. It could be drugs. It could be porn. It could be whatever. Because you're trying to fill a hole. Because really, when it comes down to it, there's an unhappiness or an emptiness on the inside. Because you're constantly going after all the things that you think are important and forgetting about the simple things, forgetting about your core people who've had your back because you want to be seen with what you think is dope. You want to be seen and on the scene with who you think is going to say your name in rooms. I don't need nobody to say my name in nobody's room because God already said, this is what I have for you. And even when you force yourself into rooms where you do not belong, and all y'all corporate America people know exactly what I'm talking about. When you force yourself into a space where you do not belong, trust and believe God gonna snatch you out of it real quick. Because it may not be your time to shine in that particular space. And quite frankly, God always has a better space for us, but we constantly fight it. Because we want to be seen and on the scene. Who? For who? Who are you showing and proving to? Show and prove what? You can't even get your mental health together. You can't even get your physical health together. You're constantly in a state of misery, anxiety, depression, all of these things. Those are things that need to be addressed before we do all the other stuff. The simple things. The simpler things. We're always trying to measure up with what we think is success. We're watching social media. You think you know me because of things that I post on social media? You know nothing about me. Nothing. Just like when you watch these vlogs of all these different influencers and all, you see 2-3 minutes of their day in a reel or a long form on YouTube or whatever it is, and you think you know them. You do not. You do not. We have to get back to the simple core things that make us click every day. The material stuff, nothing wrong with liking nice things, but that's secondary. We've made that the forefront, which is why as a society we are so miserable. So, yeah, getting up early this morning and seeing that ambulance taking someone in the middle of a medical emergency who I just saw 24 hours ago, walking up the street, going to the store, greeting everybody, saying hello. It really makes you think. Be happy. Be content in the things that you do have. And then achieve and work towards your goals and your dreams. But you gotta be happy with what you have so that you can appreciate the extra that you attain. That's all I got for y'all this morning, but I just had to kind of share that because it hit me. It definitely hit me. It was a good reminder. So when I get those type of feelings, or I feel like I want to share something that's been sitting in my spirit, I'm definitely going to do that. And my podcast is a way to do that. So again, thank you so much for tuning into my podcast. If this is the first time that you're listening, let me know. Comments. I'm going to start putting questions that you can answer in my podcast, especially if you tune in through Spotify. You'll see the questions that you can actually answer. Share your feedback with me and let me know what you think. And, we'll keep going from there. We're almost at the end of Q1. March, we only got a few days left to the end of March. Q1 is almost over, you guys. 2024 is almost a quarter of the way through. So what are the things, those simple things that you need to be more appreciative of? What are those simple changes, those everyday changes that you can make to be more appreciative, to be more thankful, which in turn will at some point lead to you being more happy and content within yourself? Think about that. Q1, let's get it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.